Do you remember how to do this?
How do I podcast?
It's been a long time. Like
it's
3
been a while.
weeks should not feel like that long, but it has.
I feel like it's been a year or so.
Well, I can tell you what, it feels to me, I'll probably reference it to not being in the ring for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you take that first bump at a live event and it just sends shockwaves through your body.
Okay, yeah. I could see that. Now, I'm Mo. Could you guys remind me who you are? I don't remember which one's which.
I'm Dvon.
Okay.
I'm Lindsey.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Just making sure. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year. How's 2022 for you so far?
So far, it's great for me. Go ahead, Lindsey.
Oh, no, it's the same as 2021. It's just pouring over.
Okay, all right. Well, you never know. Maybe something positive would happen. You know, Lindsey and I, we went to the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view.
We did. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was
crazy. I wish I was there with you guys, but unfortunately, you know, my back is not allowing me to do any traveling like that right now. And it's all right though, you know. But we got good news on the horizon. Right before the podcast, literally right before we came on, I got a phone call from the doctor. They got the approval, and now I just got to pick the date. It's either going to be February 2nd or February 7th. I'll have the surgery and get this over with.
Very nice. Okay. Very nice. Well, keep us posted. Let us know when you decide. And, of course, we will go from there. Dante, Happy New Year to you as well. Glad to see you're doing all right. We were just talking about sore bodies and whatnot right before we took the airwaves. We get to kick off the year with a guest, a former light heavyweight champion, a former WWF tag team champion as part of Too Much, or if you will, Too Cool. Of course, you know him as Scotty Too Hotty. Scott, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hello.
What's up, Scotty?
How are you guys? I feel
good.
so underaccomplished when you say I've only had, one time WWF, one time WWE, when I'm on a show with Dvon, who's got like 27,
That means you just held on to him better than he did.
Hey, Scotty, let me just say this. Regardless of 24-time World Tag Team Champion, it didn't bring me any extra money. I'm still broke.
Hey, now. What a run, though, man. What a run, right?
It was fun. I had a good time, especially with you guys. It was always a pleasure.
Oh, always, man.
I think
memories.
Did Dvon ever do the dance with you guys?
He did. I mean,
I was just about to say that.
I swear, somebody tags me in it every month or so,
yeah,
and you see that, and it's so amazing to watch that. Anything from that time frame is like just crazy because it was it was larger than life. Like, and we were lucky to be a part of it. I think, right? Like,
yes.
And I mean, I think we did it twice on TV, but I mean, how many times did we do it at live events?
Live events was insane, and I think one of the biggest things that stands out to me on the live event when we did the dance was I forgot who we worked. Either you guys came and saved our butts, or we saved your butts. We ran in, got rid of whoever was in the ring, and then all of a sudden, this was in the Nassau Coliseum, and the funny thing about it was my mother was there. And she had no idea what you guys did. So she had no idea what was about to happen. So all of a sudden, Rikishi does his thing with the glasses and all. You guys do it to me and Bubba. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you look around, we get the whole people, 15,000 plus clapping their hands. And all of a sudden, Rikishi sets the stage and boom, the lights go out and we start dancing. My mother's screaming and I could hear her. She's screaming, "You better dance! You better represent Brooklyn! You better do it right!"
So awesome. But you know what made it so good? I mean, we danced with so many people. Like with you guys would go all in. Nobody would expect you guys to the Dudley boys to dance like that. And both you and Bubba would just be all in with it. And that's what makes it, right? Like that's no matter what you're doing in the ring, like you can phone it in, but if you like go all in on something, it makes such a difference, man, and people can feel that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, and that's what I try to tell a lot of the guys today. And I'm sure you did the same thing at the PC. You have to be able to go all in. Don't worry about being shy. don't worry about looking stupid. Remember, we're a bunch of grown men in tights running around acting like a fool. So we
That's
already
what I
look
always
dumb.
say, man.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I
already look
always
dumb.
say. You know,
So just go out
I
there and have fun.
yeah, I said this the other day, like and I don't mean any disrespect to those that came before us, but like, dude, this is pro wrestling. At the end of the day, this is pro wrestling, right? And it's all a little silly, but I love it. I love it.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't mean any disrespect to it. Like, I don't want somebody to take that the wrong way. But it's pro wrestling. It's supposed to be fun.
Exactly. Listen, when people
It's
start taking it seriously and start believing, the hype or what have you, that's when we got wrong. That's when we go wrong. This is why I like to say table talk. We're just table talk. We're nothing serious. We're just table
yeah,
talk. And we're not trying to tell Vince McMahon or Tony Khan how to change the business. We might reflect on what happened,
yeah.
but we're not trying to tell them what to do. We just want to have fun and have fun watching it and do it with it.
That's it. That's
If you
it.
don't listen, just like when we were little, before there was an internet, if you didn't like it, you didn't watch it.
Right. Right.
It's as simple as that. So
Yeah.
why sit there and try to tell these guys what to do? Oh, Vince McMahon, he sucks. I can't believe he's ruining the company. This and that. Oh, Tony Khan is this and Tony Khan is that. Dude,
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I used
Just
to
sit back.
love going to Madison Square Garden as a kid and not knowing what a smart mark was,
Right.
what a dirt sheet was,
Right.
because I was just there to have fun.
Right.
And
Right.
regardless to how silly it might have been, still, I was entertained at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And guess what? If I wasn't entertained, then guess what? I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else.
Yep. It's funny because you'll see people like on Twitter, social media ruin it all. I think
Oh, it did.
But people will say, "Oh, the product sucks. The product's this," and I just want to respond and be like, the product was a lot better before everybody referred to it as the product.
Mm-hmm.
When did that come about? Like,
Yep.
You don't go to anything else, a comedy show, a movie, a concert, and leave there going, "Oh, well, the product was great. Well, the product was this." It's just, all of a sudden there's this entitlement, like that everybody can talk the lingo, and dude, like that wasn't even a word when we were like at the peak of our career. I don't remember it ever being referred to as the product.
Never.
That's something that's come about in the last few years, right?
It's these new millenniums that watch the show and think that they can make a suggestion on everything we do.
Right.
Listen, if I didn't like what I was seeing on TV, if I didn't like Jake the Snake Roberts or Roddy Piper, I would take a pen and paper, write it, and send it in.
Yeah.
And I might boo-hoo it in, but that was about it.
Yeah.
And that was the most exciting thing. I remember breaking into the business, and I remember Paul Lee used to have a lady named Debbie who used to go around the locker room handing guys fan mail. And I remember when I got my fan mail for the first time, I was so excited and so happy because I was one of those guys as a kid that sent in fan mail and that did that.
Right.
So now I'm getting fan mail. And I'm like, damn, that's when I thought I arrived. You couldn't tell me nothing. I got fan mail. I was the coolest thing around.
Right.
And my thing was, the first letter I got was, Dvon, you suck. And this and that. And it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Was that from Mo?
I'm like, wait, what do you mean I suck? I'm like, I'm out there busting my butt. And somebody said, Dvon, that's a good thing. You're a bad guy. People hate you. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get told that you suck. They're not going to like you. That's what you want. You're doing your job. And that's what I realized. But when you go on social media nowadays, and Scott, I know you know this, how the fans can be. I mean, they're very disrespectful.
Yeah.
They don't have any consideration, and they hide behind the computer. And I'm very passionate on letting these fans know, stop, because you're ruining the business. You really are. You're ruining it. You're ruining it for everybody.
They're ruining it for themselves also, And it's not only wrestling, it's everything. It's movies, it's
everything.
Yeah. So it's it's supposed to be entertainment. If you like it, you like it. If not, move on and find something else.
And just another point, do you remember growing up as a kid, when Dr. J was playing basketball at the time, and then here comes Michael Jordan, and everybody in the schoolyard would be like, Michael Jordan is better, blah blah blah. He's better than Dr. J, and people say, "Are you crazy? Dr. J is the man." Julius Erving, that's the man. Now, and there was no social media back then, So it was only amongst school people, school
Yeah.
kids that would talk the crap. Now, who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
Right.
just like, of course, I'm a big MJ fan because I lived it.
Yep.
I was there, and I went to the games that he was at. And plus, I went to the games that LeBron was at. So, in
Right.
my opinion, I think it's MJ. That's as far as I'll go. But these
Right.
fans get nasty, man.
Yeah.
They get nasty.
Yeah.
The Dvon,
Let me ask you this,
Dvon,
Scotty. Have you ever had it?
I was gonna say, Dvon, the red outfit you're wearing clashes a little bit too much with the walls. So next time, could you wear a different outfit? It's ruining the table talk product.
Well, it's got a little black in it. I don't know if you can see it, but
No, you're fine. I'm being facetious. Ask your question, Dvon.
I don't know. I got hit in the head a lot, so I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
That's
No, so I
I
want
know
to
what I was
congratulate
going
you.
to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Congratulate me in a second. Had anybody ever hit the ring on you when you wrestled?
I remember it was my second match ever, like 89 or 90. And some guy got up on the apron, but that was it. I don't remember anybody really hitting the ring. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you hear stories about that now all the time. My thing is, you fans, if you're listening to the show and you ever have an idea of hitting the ring, bad idea. Because the guy who you hate, who's wrestling the guy you love, guess what? You go after the guy you hate, the guy you love is going to turn on you as well. He's going to whoop your ass.
Right.
So it wouldn't be a smart idea to jump the railing and come after us.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in ECW found that out the hard way between me and Bubba and Big Dick Dudley. They got their asses beat. How we're not sitting in a jail cell right now, doing hard time is beyond me. This is why I say the 90s and the 80s were the greatest times in the world. And for you millenniums out there that beg to differ, you weren't there in the 80s and 90s. You can call us old farts, you can call us whatever you want. But we had good times and nobody took everything seriously. We enjoyed life. And it was a lot safer back then. We'd have to wear a mask.
Yeah, right.
I would think that it also helps, and I could be wrong here. You guys are the professionals, but Scotty, your career, at least your biggest popularity, you were a good guy. You were a fan favorite, so I think that would probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, lessen the chances of an incident in the ring.
Yeah,
a fan incident.
Yeah, I think so. But you never know, man. People are crazy. And I don't think they're the fans hitting the ring. I think these are just crazy people. I think if you're a fan, you're there to watch the show. And I think probably most of the time when you see people hitting the ring, they've had a few too many drinks, probably.
And they actually think that they're strong men. They think they're Hercules, and they can go in there.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we've all been into bars where we've seen guys act crazy because they get a couple of drinks in them. Right. Somebody tells them to calm down. You ain't got to tell me to calm down. I do what the hell I want. This is my and they wind up getting knocked out. That's the greatest part. I love it when those bullies get knocked out and they're face down on the floor.
Yeah.
I just want to take my pants down and squat and shit all over them. I do want to do
that. Ew. That's disgusting.
That right there, that's how you sell not getting attacked in the ring.
Yeah.
Mark's got a great question here. A big fan of Too Cool, Scotty. Talk about how you and Brian got started as a tag team even before Rikishi came into the fold.
We were just thrown together at WrestleMania 14 in the Tag Team Battle Royal. I was sitting home. I'd been sitting home for months. And then on Wednesday before WrestleMania 14 in Boston, they called me and said, we have you booked on Sunday in this Tag Team Battle Royal, and you're with Brian Christopher. So we were thrown together. But I had actually used the name Scott Too Hot Taylor before, so I pitched that to Vince McMahon, who I saw in catering that day. And then the next week we were too much. He was too sexy. I was too hot. And we were off and running.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, there's a question I was going to ask, and I was thinking about this too. And I never knew this, knowing you for so long. Whose idea was it to come up with the Michael Jackson as you were coming down the ring?
Well, that was
when you guys
Brian.
Were dancing. That was all Brian.
Yeah. No, that was just Brian doing the Michael Jackson thing.
Right.
I had my stuff, and that was kind of his thing. The Thriller. You're talking about the Thriller thing, right?
The Thriller thing, yeah.
Yeah. He would do that. I always say, like, Rikishi had the stink face and I had the worm, and then Brian came up with the 3-way dance,
Right.
and he doesn't get credit for that, but it was him that put that whole thing together. And I can remember us like rehearsing that, and I think it was upstate New York somewhere. So that was his deal too. So
now I forgot what they call that. It's not the hustle. It is
the 3-way dance we did.
Yeah, I forgot. It's not the hustle.
It was pretty much the electric slide.
Electric slide. I think that's what it is. The electric slide.
Yeah.
And
we modified it a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember Bradshaw goes, Dvon, you gonna do the dance? I was like, yeah. He goes, you can't do that dance. I said, JBL, I don't know if you know it, but you're in Texas a lot. But understand this: at every black wedding or at every black function, especially cookouts, they always do the electric slide. So I've learned that since the time I came out of my mother's womb, learning how to do the electric slide. I mean, it's a tradition in black culture. So
That's
you
funny.
have to learn that. If you don't learn electric slide, you ain't black.
Right.
That's what my grandmother used to always tell me. If you don't know how to do that, boy, you ain't black.
So we know he could dance, but Scotty, could Dvon do the worm?
I don't. Did you ever do the worm?
I did the worm one time, and I
Yeah.
nearly broke my back.
Yeah. That's why your back's messed up now.
That's
right?
why
Yes,
it's
exactly. Exactly. Because when I was younger, I did, I was
Long time ago.
maybe, a long
Way
time ago.
back when.
40 years ago. I used to, break dance with a lot of my friends because it was when break dancing first came in the early 80s.
Right.
So when I was doing the worm back then, it was not a problem,
Yeah.
Now I forgot that I got older and I put my body through some hell. So I remember you looked at me, and I remember I wanted to wring your neck, Scotty. I'm sorry I did. Because you looked at me, because everybody, when you guys did this, that meant you had to dance.
Right.
And I remember you did this, and you did, do the worm. And I said, what? And you said, do the worm. And I was like, Scotty. And of course, he put me on the spot, so I got to do it now.
We put you in the hole.
Put me on the hole. So I went, I'm going to wring his neck when we get to the back. And I remember going down, and I remember the first one I did, the word wave, I went, oh, shit, my back.
Yeah.
I said, oh, God, my back. And I was like, you can't stop. You got to keep going. 15,000 people are watching us. You got to keep going. I mean, it was so good times. So many good times.
And it was honestly better if it wasn't good. That's what people like to see look bad, right? That was the entertainment of it all.
Yep.
Like, if you go out there and you outdance the dancing guys, it's not good, right? So
exactly.
That was so much fun, like dancing with everybody.
You did seem to embrace Cody Rhodes doing it recently. I saw on your socials you shared that clip.
Right. It's funny because I know at one point Charlotte Flair did it on an NXT show way back when she was in NXT, and I had actually seen Cody do it before on I don't remember if it was a WWE show or an NXT show. Somebody posted video of him doing it, and I remember thinking at the time, like, how cool is that a Flair and a Rhodes are both doing the worm?
That's great.
And I'm sure Rick has done it a few times too. So
Rick probably has. There's no question. I'm sure if we look back at some of the tapes, he's probably has. We just got to find
for sure. Right.
Ric Flair would have used a different worm, but that's fine that he did.
Sure. Yeah.
The family-friendly one there.
All right.
People got to understand when you get to a certain age and your body's hurting, it's not recommended to do the worm.
Good to know.
I don't even think I would have attempted it when I was in better shape, much less now. So I commend Scott for being able to do it as long as he has. Of course, you're back wrestling again. You did so just a couple of weeks ago. So what's the future? What's the plan? Are you going to keep doing it until you can't do it anymore? Are you looking to join another company? Like, what's in your head?
Right now, I'm just having a blast, just, working for myself, and just traveling. As a matter of fact, like as soon as we get out from this, my 20-year-old daughter, Taylor, and I we're getting in a car and we're going to have a show on Saturday night in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We're in Florida, so we're going to make a little road trip, and I don't even know where we're going when we leave here. We just have a couple days to get there, so we're going to do that, and then we have a couple days afterwards. So we're going to, I don't know if we'll end up in Tennessee or the Carolinas, Georgia. So it's pretty awesome, and then, like that's one of the benefits of doing this, because when you're with a big company, it's kind of like you go in 100 miles an hour and you don't really have a chance to stop and appreciate that stuff. So. I'm booked solid. Honestly, I think I'm booked every weekend up until May right now with at least one thing. And most of the shows that I'm doing, I'll go in and I'll do a show, but before the show, I'll do a 2-hour seminar. So I'm getting I'm doing seminars along with the shows and some signings. And I've done signings I think the last 3 weekends up in the New York area. And then of course I did the GCW show on the 1st of January with Joey Janela. And then just this past Saturday, I was in Louisville for Al Snow and OVW, and I did a seminar, and then I was surprised in their Royal Rumble thing. So just having a blast with it, man. And that's what I'm looking to do. Like, I don't need to make millions of dollars to be happy. I want to be able to enjoy this and have some fun with it in the time that I have left.
Oh no! Listen, I said that a long time ago. But the great thing about it is, Scotty, what I love the most is that there is still a very well want and need for the Attitude Era guys.
Oh, absolutely.
For those that can still go, and for those that are coherent after going through what we went through, there's still a huge following for us. Because I said this all the time. I said, I used to get upset because. A lot of times, when you see sometimes either Raw or AEW or what have you, some of the ratings go down. But then when you bring back the guys from yesterday, they shoot right up. Right. I mean, it's like it goes through the roof, not taking anything away from the new talent, but there's still a yearning, there's still a love for those that were here before them. Right. And, when you don't bring them in the mix and you don't use them as much as you should, that's when they come on TV, they blow away the ratings because people are so happy to see them. Right. And that I used to say that all the time. I'm like, listen, let me come in and make an appearance and do something. Oh, Dvon, you're just trying to get yourself over. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm trying to stay relevant. Right. I'm trying to still keep money in my pocket. Yeah. Because you and I both know when this business is done with you, it spits you up and throws you right out. Right. It wants nothing to do with you. And when you're out of sight, out of mind, the fans forget about you. Yeah.
Yep. I think the difference now, though, Dvon, like I'm finding just in my short time back out there is, social media, I said social media ruined everything earlier, but I have a love-hate relationship with it because it gives us now, it gives us a platform to be our own promoters, really. Yes. So I can be whoever I want to be, and I can create this character, or I can expand this character, and and I'm embracing being 48 years old and this being, my it could be the end. Like I said, I have a couple good years, and I'm using that to my advantage. I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm 27 years old, and you're going to get Scotty Too Hotty from 2000. Yep. You're going to get Scott Garland, this aging wrestler who still can friggin' go, man. Exactly. I can go, and I'm embracing the nostalgia of it all. Like even like in the last 5 or 6 years, I've found, because I left the independent scene, went back with NXT and WWE for almost 6 years. In that time, guys like you and I have become like this nostalgia thing that I didn't have 6 years ago, or I wasn't feeling 6 years ago. Now coming back in, it's like it's almost surreal, like the change, and it's awesome. Like, so why wouldn't I embrace that, And, exactly. And so, like I said, just using these different vehicles. I open a YouTube channel. I have all my social media platforms, and I opened this YouTube channel to throw up. I found all these old VHS tapes of old matches that I had, that I haven't done anything with, that are sitting on VHS in my garage, rotting away. So I start uploading them to this YouTube. I'm not looking to make $1 million off YouTube, but just to have this vehicle to promote myself, and just keep my name out there. Really, if you're not using social media, if you're, I don't know if I like the term independent wrestler because it feels like it has a negative, and I don't even know why, but maybe it's because there's a lot of bad independent promotions out there, and it has a bit of a stigma to it, right? I don't like the term independent wrestler so much, but But if you're an independent wrestler and you're not using your social media and YouTube and all these other platforms to your advantage, you're crazy, because it's free, and like you can like I said, you can make videos and throw them up there and be whoever you want to be and promote yourself in a way that you want to be perceived.
And that one video that you do, you may not think will get over with the fans, and it does, and it can change your life like
Everything.
you wouldn't believe.
Right.
You know, so you're
Yep.
right about that, because there's sometimes I look at things and I go, how the hell did that have 1 million views?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to do videos that make sense and with a nice story. Meanwhile, they're just acting crazy and dumb, and they get the most views.
Yep. Put hours into editing it. You can't get any views on it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's with my YouTube channel. I don't really want to spend all that time. You know, throw a video up on there or whatever, and you know, if somebody wants to watch it, they can watch it. If not, it's okay too. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now, so a fan. What did that fan just say, Mo?
So that one is talking about first time seeing Scott Prime, King of the Ring '98, amazing dark match. Jim Cornette is their manager, something he'll never forget.
Now, Scotty, off of that question, do you remember that match, one? And number two, how was it to have Jim Cornette as your manager?
I don't remember that.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure I would remember Jim Cornette managing us.
Yeah, how could you not remember Jim Cornette as your manager?
So King of the Ring '98 is when Mick took the dive off the top of the cage, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Can help
because Bubba and I came in shortly right after that.
Yeah, so that's the night that Brian and I wrestled Al Snow and Head.
I think so.
If it's King of the Ring '98, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember Cornette ever managing us. I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that.
Now, you were NWA champion?
Me?
Yes.
No.
Tag team champion?
No.
Jared, are you even thinking of the right guy here? Come on, Jared.
That's embarrassing.
One of the fans just said NWA champion. I was like, wow, I don't remember that either.
I was NWA. I beat Flair in like '79 for it.
I was like, wait a minute, you are not that old.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you know, we're up there, but not to the point where we were in NWA.
Yeah.
I think NWA, we were still home hoping to be a wrestler.
Right.
Just got fresh out of high school in that point.
Yep.
But I got to agree with something you said earlier. You know, I embrace it now, because I remember going into my mid to late 40s, I was kind of down. I was like, damn, I'm about to be 50. It's a half a century. I was like, damn, I'm freaking old now. You know, I can't be liking things on Instagram. And people go, sit your old ass down. You don't be liking this. You know, things like that. But you know what? Now I look at it like I used to dye my goatee, you know, just for men and all of that.
Yeah.
And I told my wife the other day, I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to have a Santa Claus white goatee.
Heck yeah.
I want that because it shows knowledge.
Yeah.
It shows that you've been around and experienced. I was like, not to mention, I think it looks great. And what I love the most is all the young girls out there now are dyeing their hair gray, you know, and to make it look. And I think that looks great on some of the young girls. I think it looks great. And to me, I think gray just adds to you. So I love the fact that I'm going to be 50 this year. And because number one, I don't look like most of the high school. Like when I go to the high school reunion, I've never been to one, but I've seen pictures. Half of them got bare bellies out to here. Half of them's face has dropped. And I'm just like, you know, I don't have a bare belly out there. I ain't got a 6-pack, but I ain't got a beer belly out there like that.
I got a 24-pack.
I ain't worried about
that.
Yeah. I'm not, you know, and not to mention, regardless of the bulging disc in my back, the reason why is because of wrestling, not because of old age, but, you know, hey, you know, whatever. You know, and I'm just like, I feel great. I'm like, you know, and I look good. So, you know, what the hell?
Why not embrace it, right?
Hey, why not embrace it? I'm loving 50. I'm loving it. I tell people sometimes I'm 60. They go, how old are you? I go, 60. They go, no, you're not. I go, no, I am. They go, let me see some proof. I go, no, I ain't got to show you. Why am I going to lie? I'm 60. They go, damn, you look good for 60. I go, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, Tony Atlas used to do that.
Did he?
You know, I grew up in Maine, and he wasn't from Maine, but he lived in Lewiston, Maine. So he used to ride with me to some shows sometime. And I can remember him telling me he was like 62 years old. And this is like, you know, at least 20 years ago. And I'm thinking, like, he would do that for the same reason that you're saying, I think, you know?
Because
so they go, wow, you look great. Like, I mean, dude, still, like, I don't know how old he is now, but he still looks good for a 27-year-old. The dude's jacked. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
would like to say 70, but I don't think people are gonna buy that one. But
yeah,
still,
right.
but I've seen like some on Instagram, like you said, social media is sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But I've seen some pictures of some people on TikTok and all of that where
Yeah,
some of these women and men look phenomenal, and
yeah,
they're like 60, 70 years old, and you're like, what? Wait a
yeah,
minute, no, there's got to
yeah,
be no. And I've met people that are like that.
yeah. What do you
You
think
got
it is?
you have good genes, Dvon.
Genetics.
Scotty, have you ever seen his mom? Dvon's mother?
That's true.
It does
I'm
not look
sure.
like his mom. It looks like his
I'm
sister.
sure
Yeah.
I'm sure we've met. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure we met at one point.
Yeah, you have. And I remember Farouk going, damn, Devin, that's your mama? Damn. When you invited me over to Thanksgiving, I said, you're not, Ron. I said, I don't care. You could beat my ass if you want, but you ain't coming over for Thanksgiving. Damn,
Ron
Dvon.
Simmons could have been your stepdad.
That's awesome.
Now, did I see a couple horror items behind you, Scotty?
those too.
You a big horror movie fan?
Not so much horror movie fan, but like the haunted events, like Halloween Horror Nights, and that's what all that stuff is from. Both of the things I think you could probably see at Halloween Horror Nights, and then the little dummy guy back there, that's my girlfriend's.
That's real creepy.
Yeah, so one night I took him and I it's that little ventriloquist dummy there. I took that and a Ouija board, and I set it in my daughter's room. Like the dummy was playing the Ouija board.
I ain't playing.
Nope.
I ain't playing with that. Listen, it took me a few years to be able to say Candyman 5 times in the mirror in the dark by myself.
Why would you even do that?
Because I didn't think it was real, and I did it. I said Bloody Mary. I did Candyman, and once I found out, God rest his soul, the man that passed away that played Candyman, when he passed away, I said, okay, Candyman. And I was like, where are you? And a friend of mine who's into all of that stuff, like, fortune telling and all of that, he goes, Dvon, now he can show up, especially in that form, because he's on the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, he probably could. I wouldn't do that again.
Yep.
You might piss him off.
Not smart.
Yep, so true.
But hey, I just want to say this also, because I was going to say this earlier. I've known you since 1999, and I've watched you with your kids and everything. I cannot believe how big both your son and daughter are. It's
crazy,
amazing.
man.
It's amazing when you see, like Mick Foley, his daughter and his son. His son works for WWE. I think
he's a writer.
He's a writer, and to see him, I remember Dewey when he used to come around. He was like this little guy, and I remember Noelle. Forget about it. She was even littler than Dewey, and I remember her clinging to her mom all the time. Coming to the shows, and now she's so outspoken on social media. Yeah. She's like this 1 million
followers.
Like oh my God, yeah. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And then you were putting on your social media. Your daughter, I'm like, that is not the same little girl that used to come to the building. I'm like, crazy, Scotty, man. I'm like, I was going to text you and go, Scotty, if you get that knock at the door, let me know. I want to be there with you. I need you. Yeah, I want to do a scene from Bad Boys.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you like men? You like men? You ever been to prison? You ever been with a man? You want to be with one?
Yep. Yeah. So it's cool. So she's 20 years old now, and I was supposed to have a show Friday night, but it sounds like it's canceled. And so I texted her earlier, and because she gets out of work at 5, so I'm going to pick her up at 5, and we're just going to get on the road. And I said, hey, the Friday show is canceled. I said, what do you want to do? You want to go today? You just want to leave tomorrow? And she's like, I still want to go today. Like, she's all excited to go, it's really cool. Like, she still wants to hang out with me.
She's hanging out with Dad. I mean,
that's so
look,
cool.
Scotty, you look great. Number one, you don't even look 48. That's one. And number two, I mean, she still wants to hang out with the coolest guy in the world that used to do the worm, for crying out loud. I can still do the worm.
Yeah,
I can still do the worm. Yeah. I mean, God bless you, man. It's great.
I'm lucky. We're both kids. They're both really good kids and respectful kids, and thankful.
I mean, it's amazing when you watch all of our kids who are now grown. But when you think back during the Attitude Era, how small they were, and how,
dude, your boys are in a PC having a tryout, and I'm like, how the heck is this happening?
I'm still
watching them, and like, I mean, whoever thought that your kids would hit 3D better than you did? You know what I mean?
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I may have to come out to retirement and whoop their ass and show them who's still the man.
I hope
I'm
you're getting
still-
royalties off of that.
Shit. Well, between them and the Usos, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
Right? Man.
Me and Bubba got to beat up my kids and Rikishi's kids to get our tag team finish back.
Right.
Speaking of others doing
God.
your moves, Otis has been doing the worm. Did he approach you asking for permission ahead of time? Is that
He did?
code?
No,
Oh,
he
that's
did.
cool.
He when I first met him, he asked me, and I said, "Yeah, it's and he hadn't started on TV yet." So I said, "Yeah, it's cool. Do it." Like, he's a great dude, man. I love him. He's like, I have certain people I call my guys and my girls, and he was one of my guys there. But he did. He asked me when I first met him, and then they were getting ready to start on TV. Heavy Machinery was getting ready to start on NXT TV, and I thought about it more, and I was like, why don't you guys get a little steam behind you first before you start doing the worm, and then once you start to get established and get over, then add it back in. So one night after they'd been on TV a few months, I pulled him aside and I said, "Dude, why don't you add the worm back in there now?" And dude, I thought he was going to cry. It was so awesome. Like his eyes got all watery, and like he was so appreciative of it. And like, dude, that's all you can ask for, right? Like, and it's not my move. Like, dude, Dvon, like the worm was around before I was doing it.
Exactly.
When we were little kids, they were doing it. I just made it my own in the ring, But I mean, God, Road Dogg was doing it in the WWF ring before I was ever doing it.
Yeah.
So, I kind of stole it from him.
If you think about it, it's kind of similar to Michael Jackson, and I say that because of the moonwalk. When he did that on that special Motown 25, it was like the greatest thing ever. But people don't realize that people were doing the moonwalk way before Michael even did it.
Michael, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
That's
Michael.
crazy.
Yeah, and to make it even more crazy, I was watching something vintage from the 1940s and 50s. It was like on social media, and they were showing these guys dancing, and it read on the bottom of the caption. It said, "First time the moonwalk ever done on national TV." And this guy, it was like 1940s or 50s. Guy was doing the moonwalk, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "I thought I knew everything about the moonwalk, and I didn't."
Yeah.
But
so
we were
just
doing
made it.
He took it because remember, Michael used to study dance. He loved Fred Astaire. He loved all those guys, and he always credited his dancing moves to James Brown and Fred Astaire. Yeah. And he watched dancing like there was no tomorrow. So he said he took it from the streets. Yep. And that's what a lot of people didn't realize is that sometimes when you see things on TV, they might not be the original creator, but they took it and made it their own and put it out there. Just like the tables. We weren't the first ones to use the tables. Sabu was. Right. In ECW. We took it and put it on a bigger scale in WWE, which got more notoriety, and it made it seem like we were the ones that invented the tables, and we didn't. Whenever we see Sabu, we go, "Listen, we got a check coming to you in the mail. Don't worry."
Yeah.
We got a check.
Yeah, you just gotta, you guys made it your own, and you made it part of your shtick, So just like I made the worm part of my shtick, and the whole WORM and the who that was all added over time. It didn't happen overnight, but it just became my thing. And I always say, like, it wasn't what I was doing that made it so popular. It was what it brought the audience into the ring. It wasn't me going WORM. It was them doing it. Right. So, and it was part of that time where there were all these catchphrases. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, and finally, the Rock has come back, or Austin 316, or whatever it is. Like, it was all those things that the crowd could chant and brought them into the ring.
Hold on, let's not forget. Oh, my brother testified.
That's it, right?
Scotty gave us examples up here. Dvon gave us one here.
Bubba would tell you to get the tables. That was all part of, like, bringing the audience in, right?
And I tell
even when you guys hit 3D, they would scream, they would yell 3D.
Mm-hmm. It was we had nothing to do with that. That was like you said, that was the fans that did that.
Yep.
And I remember Bubba going, "Wow, they're chanting 3D before we even hit it."
Yeah,
it was like the minute we were in the ring together, side by side, they thought 3D would cut. It was so many times we would be in the ring, get rid of our opponents or put our opponents down, and all of a sudden they'd be chanting 3D. and it was amazing. It really was.
Yeah, and when they do that, you got them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I always say, like it got to a point with the worm where it was more fun to set it up and take it away than it was to actually hit it. Because you get them so excited, and then I'd hit the ropes like I'm going to hit the bulldog, and Dean or whoever would turn around and take my head off with a clothesline. And they would boo it. They'd boo them out of the building. But you knew if they did that, you had them. So when you actually hit the worm, they're going to explode.
I remember.
Guys.
Yep, I remember Scotty hit me with the worm many times in matches, and I would just remember one time I'm down on the floor, I'm like this, and I'm like, okay, don't move, just sell. I was like, wait a minute. So all of a sudden he's in the back going like this, and they're going crazy. I'm like this. I'm like looking up to see all the people going crazy. I'm just crazy. I'm trying to sell. I'm trying to act like I'm hurt, but I'm just like. Look it up. Awesome. It was great. Yeah. But to see all those people jumping up and going crazy for Scotty, hitting those moves. And again, like we said earlier, this is something that had been done in movies and on TV shows for years. Yep. Scotty took it, made it his own, and bam, there you go. You got the worm. And the people loved it. The people loved it.
Yeah, and it's why I would encourage my people at the PC, to try stuff and throw stuff against the wall, because you don't know what's going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had sat down and wrote that out on a piece of paper and turned it into somebody and go, hey, what do you think? It's awful.
Right.
So sometimes you just have to play with stuff and try stuff and see what you get a crowd reaction from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard part right now, especially at NXT, because they don't have any crowds. They do TV and that's it, so you don't have the live events for these kids that are learning to go out there and try stuff,
Yep. I mean, the whole thing with Dvon get the tables, it was a mistake because I forgot to get the tables one night, pull it out and set it up for the match.
Dude, that's awesome.
And Bubba was like, Dvon, get the tables. And I was like, all right, I forgot. I was like, all right. So I went out there, got the table, put it in the ring. So then the second night, because it was like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then of course Monday was TV. And then the second night, he's like, Dvon, get the table. I go, shut up, Bubba. I know. I was like, I didn't forget this time. I'm getting mad at him because he's making sure that remind me to go get it because we have to set it up. And this happened for about 2 or 3 weeks straight. Finally, I said, Bubba, let me tell you something. Stop telling me to get the goddamn table. I know to get the table. He goes, well, Dvon, I'm only making sure. I know you got a lot on your plate. I just want to make sure that you know to get the tables. I was like, I know, Bubba. I started getting mad.
Awesome.
So then he did it again on I think it was a Sunday main event, Sunday live event. And I said, Bubba, I'm gonna ask you one more time. Stop telling me to get the tables. He went, Dvon, no. I think we got something. I said, we got what? He goes, I'm getting mad, He goes, did you hear the people saying it? I go, no, goddamn it, I didn't hear the people say shit. I was like, you're just messing with me now.
Stop telling me what to do.
Yeah, I'm getting mad. He goes, Dvon, please, just do me a favor. Listen tonight. And sure enough, he was right. He went and he like right before he did the what's up strangling, he's standing in the middle of the ring and he's about to hit me. And then you hear the people go, Dvon, get the tables. And I was like, oh shit, he's right. I was like, they are going with
awesome. So you guys didn't do that? You guys didn't do that until WWE? You never did that in ECW?
Never did that in ECW. It was in WWE because when we did the what's up, we did the what's up from the second rope. I was on the second rope, not the top, because I was scared of death of heights. I'm still scared of death of heights, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go up to the top. I didn't feel comfortable on the top rope. And if you ever see my stuff in ECW, you can see my legs start shaking every time I start going up to the top.
That's awesome.
And we got to WWE, and we did the what's up for the first couple of times. And he goes, Dvon, you got to make the special. We're not in ECW anymore. We're in WWE. You got to make it bigger.
Yeah.
I said, and I knew what he was thinking. I was like, what are you trying to get at, man? And tears started to roll down my eyes. And he goes, you need to go to the top rope. I go, Bubba, I don't know about that, man. I was like, and I tried to play it off like, I'm a little wobbly on the top. And, if I go on top, I might hit the guy really in the nuts. He goes, Dvon, don't hit the guy in the nuts, number one. And number two, try to do it. I was like, all right. So I did that what I like to call the Nikolai Volkov dive. One leg and roll into it.
Yeah.
That's what I did until I finally got comfortable with it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
It's amazing, again, what you find out behind the scenes and what we do to get the magic going.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
You
just
know.
conditioning the audience, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say like anything can be a finish. You just have to condition the audience to what that finish is. You know, people think it has to be some crazy or spectacular move. No, it's conditioning. Like if you know if you want to finish, you have to beat a bunch of people with it for a year. You know,
Yep.
6 months to a year, and nobody can kick out of it. You know,
Exactly.
but it's just conditioning. So much of what we do is conditioning the audience.
Scotty, let me get your opinion on something. And this just came to mind as we're talking about all of this. You know, today's promos, you got people, you know, going after each other. Some hit below the belt, some do that. You know, like I was watching, you know, CM Punk and what's the gentleman's name?
MJF.
MJF. And I mean, it was a very good promo. Every time those guys go at it, they are very, very good. But do you think maybe at some point it's like a little bit, do we go a little too far by, you know, saying certain things about somebody and this and that? How do you feel about promos like that?
I don't think so. I mean, my guess would be that they sat down and kind of write that together, right?
Right.
Like because if I was going to do it with you, I'd go, hey, why don't you say this? You know, and like because I know what's going to get a reaction and what's going to hit close to home for me, right? Like, so that would be my guess that that's how they're doing it. I don't know, but
like for instance, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If it gains interest and it catches an audience and people are talking about it, and I'll be honest with you, like my son was talking about that, you know, and to me, like I go most of the time, I go, hey, I'm a 48-year-old man. Like I'm not really the demographic of professional wrestling anymore. Where my son is a 17-year-old boy, right? So a lot of times I want to get his opinion on, hey, did you like this? Did you not like that? You know what? He's the demographic. Right. So I don't know if I can relate to a lot that's being done, but he was talking about that. And I think that says a lot.
Right. Okay.
Do you yourself keep up with any of the other products, AEW, Impact, anything like that?
I still watch everything a little, you know, when I can. I'm not a big TV watcher to start with. So if I'm home and saying he's watching something, you know, I'll watch it. But I have a hard time sitting still and usually, you know.
Is there anybody that catches your eye? Anybody you're a fan of?
I like Grayson Waller is like my new go-to. Like I love, and like he was in my class when I was there, but now it just feels like he's really just starting to find himself. I'm trying to think of it. Omari, Odyssey Jones. You know, he's another one. Like,
yes,
man, like, and you know, he wasn't a wrestling guy. He came from the football world, and just to
New
watch
York
him
Jets.
grow, and just watching him grow and find himself. You know, as far as on the like the other show is like Darby Allin. I think he's got a unique thing about him and a fun thing. You know, but that's you know those are the guys that come to mind right now.
No, that's great. That's great. Just curious if there was anybody on your hit list. You know, anybody that now that you're a free agent, you can take on anybody you want.
Honestly, you know who's on my hit list are the guys that got released from WWE or NXT that I was working with. You know, Steve Cutler, and you know Steve Macklin. I guess he's going by at Impact now, and then Wesley Blake. Those guys, Karrion Kross, you know, Killer Kross, like anybody who was, you know, even like a Kona Reeves, who was a guy who was there for 7 years and I worked closely with, and I watched him literally grow like from a young man to a man, like over 7 years. I just saw him grow and mature and get better. And, you know, you got this 6-foot-something Hawaiian kid that can go. And I'm just like, you know, to me, like it was a bit frustrating to see him get cut. So I'd love to see, you know, I'd love to work all these guys that were, again, my guys that for whatever reason got cut, you know.
And see how well they learned and paid attention, right?
Yeah.
Now, Scotty, one question I want to ask you. You've been in there with, like you said, some of the names that got released and cut from NXT and all that. The newer generation. Now, you know how sometimes they say, like, and I always reference this to basketball, how the older generation, you know, like the Michael Jordan era, the 80s Larry Bird era, how would they pair up to today's NBA stars like LeBron and all those guys? So my thing is, do you see those guys that you helped in NXT and the guys you've seen even in AEW now, how do you think they would compare and hold up with the Attitude Era?
I don't want to sound like an old guy, right? So this is my. But I'm going to give you my old guy my spiel. Like I think they need to slow down, if anything, and let the audience digest what they've just done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they're doing amazing stuff. And I understand the styles change. Everything changes as time goes on. It has to change, right? Like
Right.
it's bigger, faster, stronger, all that. Like the NFL, whether it's NFL or baseball, it's a faster and it's a different uh, product. And I hate using the word after we just talked about the product, but it is. It's but something that doesn't change over time, whether you go back to 1940s, 1950s, if it's Gorgeous George or if it's, and dude, I've never seen Gorgeous George even work. So, but if it's that time or if it's now, something that doesn't change is an audience's reaction. So if they cheer
Mm-hmm.
or if they boo, it's still the same length. If they go boo, whatever, 3 seconds or whatever it is, like it's still exactly the same as it was 50 years ago, whether it was then the Attitude Era or now. So you have to give that audience a chance to boo or yay. That's what they're there for. If they want to cheer or boo, you have to give them that opportunity. So much of the time now, I see these guys doing this spectacular stuff, but before the audience even has a chance to react to it, they're going to the next spectacular thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just trying to find that wave and ride that wave of emotion from your audience, which I feel like is becoming a lost art to a degree, and finding that rhythm of the storytelling and the match, because without a doubt, I mean, this is the most athletic generation ever. These guys and girls are doing amazing. Like a guy like Ricochet, dude. I go, how does he even do
Yeah.
that? How's a human, and how much further can a human body go? Like, what haven't we seen that we're going to see? So you have to learn how to tell that story with those moves, but let your audience digest it, I think.
And
And that's,
yeah.
dude, I don't know about you, but I didn't find that until probably after even working with you guys, when it was Brian Rikishi, it was like, I don't know even know if I had it then. I found it later in my run with my tag run, I think with Rikishi, because we had a formula where he might do a little something up front, and then I would do a little something, and then I would get cut off, and then there's the heat on me, and then the comeback, and then the hot tag and comeback by the big guy. That's what you want to see. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's learning to work and learning to work an audience. It's like being a comedian, I think, and not giving the audience a chance to laugh at the end of the joke. When you hit the punchline, if you get that huge pop on the joke that you're looking for, that you've just spent the last 2 minutes working towards, and you start telling your next joke before they're even done laughing,
Yeah.
it's a disservice, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's a similar thing.
Well, let me ask you this, Scotty, now, because you touched a little bit on it in terms of the ability and athletic ability of today's wrestlers. Now, again, you can definitely see the difference between the Attitude Era and the Hogan and Andre era.
Right.
But one of the things I got to say is, I think the Attitude Era still had, like the Hogan and Andre era, big guys.
Yep.
You had very huge guys back then. And, each, like I said, I reference the basketball all the time. Bigger, stronger, faster. There's no question that LeBron James is bigger and faster than a lot of probably half of the Chicago Bulls, maybe even Michael Jordan. I
Right.
think, but in terms of skill wise, I still think Jordan is better. But my question to you is, do you feel that the Attitude Era, the new generation, I should say, was bigger, stronger, and faster than the Attitude Era? Because I say this, you got guys like Triple H in his prime, who was massive.
Yeah.
You have The Rock, who stood 6'4", 6'5", 275 easy. You had Test, God rest his soul, who was like 6'4", 6'5", 265, 270, solid muscle. Kane at 300 pounds, 7 feet tall, huge. Taker as well.
Yep.
And Matt Bloom,
Yep.
the guy who runs NXT, Baldo is what we call him. He was huge.
Yeah.
Do you see them being bigger today than they were, back then?
No. It seems like big guys have gone away, right?
Yes.
Like, and I don't know if that's why the new vision is kind of to find these athletes. They're going outside of the wrestling world,
But
and
I
trying to
feel
recruit.
I feel this. I feel, and again, you touched on this, it took time for you to really grasp what was going on. You grew
Yes.
up a wrestling fan.
Yes.
You watched the product. You and I both watched it. We could actually look at enhancement talent that was in WWE at the time when they had this and go, oh, that guy is god awful. Oh my
Yeah.
God, what is he
Yeah.
doing there? But nowadays, it's like I can't even put it in words. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was
It's-
15 years in when I talk about that tag run with Rikishi, I was close to 15 years in, 14 years in,
right, and you still
So
needed to learn some.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
like, this is why when they say, well, we're only hiring such and such talent at a certain age, I'm like, I don't know about that because you could bring in a 20-year-old, but he probably still won't be ready till he's 30.
Right.
And if
Right.
he's not ready until he's 30, then what the hell is the sense of bringing him in that early?
Yep.
Or bringing somebody that has experience that can help and guide him to where you need him to be. I feel that's the right way to go in terms of getting the next Rock or getting
Right.
the next Triple H or so
Right.
forth and so on. Because you cannot bring somebody in so young that really doesn't know what they're doing. I get it. If you do the age thing where he comes in at 20, you have longevity behind him. You
Right.
don't have to worry. I
Right.
get that aspect of it. But knowledge-wise in the business, that's what I'm a little cloudy on.
Yeah, well, I think too, like they got rid of a lot of guys who could have led some of those guys, which I don't understand because now you're having, new guy leading new guy, and it's kind of like, it's the blind leading the blindfolded, and it's you need those veterans to lead these people, and I don't know if we have that so much anymore,
And and I always say this: what Ron Simmons was to Bradshaw is what we need nowadays
Yep.
for today's younger wrestlers. Because Ron helped Bradshaw
Right.
get to that level where he was, JBL or even, John Bradshaw Layfield when they were APA. He
Right.
helped Ron get there. Because remember, before they got together, it seemed like JBL was out there trying to still find his way.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he comes back, he comes with Ron, and they blow it out the water with APA.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
you said, they need to have that experience behind them to help them, to guide them so they
Yep.
can get to the next level.
Yeah, and back to being Rikishi. Rikishi is, he'd been doing it. God, I remember watching him as a kid as the Samoan SWAT team, in Dallas and in Global and in WCW and
And scaring the hell out of me.
Oh my God, right? Like, I remember working with those guys when they were the head shrinkers, and I was an extra, and just scary dudes, right?
Now, let me ask you this. You were working with the headstringers. That means you were working with Big Sam. Had you ever got hit with now, Bubba always goes on record by saying this. The hardest he's ever been hit was by a Samoan, which was Big Sam.
Yeah.
And I was there. It was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I mean, Big Sam slapped the hell out of him. Did you ever have to encounter the Samoan beatdown?
Yeah. Oh, dude, he chopped me, and he hit me so hard, like it was basically in the throat, and I thought he crushed my windpipe. Like I couldn't breathe. Like I was scared, But other than that, they were great. It's just like they're
other
scared.
than a crushed windpipe.
It's fine.
You got a second one, But and then at the end, I remember they had a pineapple. Alpha had a pineapple with them. And then they crushed the pineapple over my head afterwards. So, but who would have known, like years later, that I'd go on to make all this magic with Fatu? So pretty cool to look back on.
Oh man, that's great. Well, Scotty, you've been more than generous with your time today. Thank you so much. But where can we find you on social media, and where's your next big event and numerous events leading up to where we can see Scotty Tuhati?
Next, so it's this Saturday in Spartanburg for Big Time Wrestling, and then I know I'm heading to San Antonio actually for the first weekend in February, which is for Funaki, and it's a
Funaki.
I have a seminar there and a show there. And then the next day I go to Jackson, Tennessee. Everything's on my social media. But like I said, it's pretty much every weekend leading up through May. I've got something somewhere. And then I have two UK tours coming up. Definitely one. in March for about 10 days in a row with just something, at least one thing every day. But everything's on my social media, and I'll just give out my Instagram. It's the Scott Garland, and then they're all basically. I'm in the process of changing my Twitter and Facebook over to Scott Garland. It's still the Scotty Hotty on Twitter and Facebook, but WWE is supposed to be helping me change that over. So, but the Instagram's already changed over to the Scott Garland. So.
Yeah, I think I may have to do that. We lost him.
He got his piece and he's out. It's
Aw.
on my social, all right?
Just follow me.
I'm done with you guys.
So Dvon's asking me too many questions.
Yeah.
I was and here's the thing. I've known him since 1999,
That's crazy.
But we've never had conversations like this. And this is one of the greatest things I like about having the guys from yesterday on, because things that I wanted to ask, I never got the opportunity to ask.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to seem like a mark, and I can ask them on the show now.
There you go. There you go. Well, it feels good to be back. Two things before we wrap up. One, have to wish a happy birthday to everyone's favorite Table Talk guest, R-Truth, turning 50 today.
Is he really?
R-Truth. Happy birthday!
I would have said 70.
Of course you would.
All the time, he looks amazing for any age. I think we can all agree on that. And second bit, we don't have all the details now, but Table Talk will be moving to a nighttime live stream in February. So once we get an exact day and time, we'll pass it along to you. Of course, we love you guys that are interacting with us live in the afternoons, but schedules change and we're going to be moving to nights here soon. So
gotta go with the
I'm not happy with that, because that's breaking into my smoke time.
Well, you
why does that have to? You don't have to change that.
Yeah, just do it on the show.
Oh yeah, dude. Because last time I did, you guys called me out and said my eyes looked like I was from Beijing because they were halfway closed.
I don't feel like we said that.
I don't think we said it.
We did not say that.
We did call you out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it was
my eyes were shut.
Yeah, but
I was like, I'll take a gummy, because I was like,
what did you take, like several because you felt like they weren't working or something?
Yeah.
No, I took 2 and didn't realize how strong it was. I was like, oh my God. I remember answering the question. I'm sitting at the camera looking like this.
Yeah, well, we know. We know.
I know. And you guys called me out.
That was a good show.
It's all right. It's all right. One of these days I'll do a show high. She'll probably do a show high. Why not?
Why not? It's,
We'll all do that. So once we get the details, nighttime, smoke time or not, we'll let you know. But in the meantime, good to be back. Table Talk lives on here at Wrestling